Joe, here are the Commanders. They've got 12 wins in the season. They are playoff bound. How difficult is what they've been able to accomplish this season, giving it's basically new ownership, new head coach, new general manager, and almost an entirely new team?
Julie, because of all the newness, first of all, it's great to see you again. Because of all the newness, I think you have to really, really look at this accomplishment and consider it one of the best things in football this particular year. Dan put together basically an entirely new staff. You've got veterans that have come in. You've got a rookie quarterback. You've got so much newness everywhere from Adam Peters to Josh and the ownership. Everywhere you look, there's something new. And it reminded me of 1981 when Joe Gibbs took over. We were a very young football team. I mean, it was a little bit different. I wasn't his quarterback. I'd been there, but it was a time when there was so many things that were changing, so much newness, and we all had to learn about one another. Coaches had to learn the players. Players had to learn the coaches. We had to learn a new system. And that's sort of what these guys have gone through. And we struggled the first 5 games, lost them, but then we finished 8-3 and took off after that. So it reminds me a little bit of, like I say, around 1981.
There's no such thing as beginner's luck in the NFL, is there?
I don't think there's beginner's luck. I think there's luck. I think if you take a look at the Hail Mary pass against the Chicago Bears, the way the ball bounces, you never know. And this ball is a funny ball because it's not square and it's not round. It just sort of goes where it wants to go sometimes. But we've had some situations that I think have been very, very unique to us and have allowed us to be able to win football games. Certainly the effort's there, the athleticism's there, the intelligence is there, and it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of luck.
To that point, there's been a lot of really close games. They're having to play from behind, having to use a lot of theatrics in order to pull off the victories here late in the season. How do they avoid that now that they're in the postseason?
Well, you're looking at basically 4 games if you have the opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, and each game has a significant difference to it. What I've found when we got into the playoffs the first time, because we went in a strike year and we're wild cards, just like we see us now. What you find out is that the game speeds up with each game you play. There's 3 different speeds of football from what I ascertained. First of all, you have the preseason where everybody's sort of finding things out. Then you get into the regular season. And then you hopefully stay healthy enough to be able to get into the postseason. So you have speed preseason, speed regular season, and things change speed-wise in the postseason. I think that's the thing that we're going to have to get used to. It's going to be a different level. Tampa's been there before. So many guys on our football team are new. They're really new to the organization. But the one part of our team that I've been most proud of and watched them grow is our offensive line. I think they've done a very, very good job because it was a real Achilles heel for us a year ago. And the guys up front have done a terrific job, and Jayden's athleticism speaks for itself.
Let's talk a little bit about Jayden. They played Tampa the first game of the season. They lost that game, but this is a totally different team now, a totally different young quarterback right now. What have you seen in the growth of him throughout this rookie season for him?
Well, Julie, he's won his varsity letter now. Okay, let's put it that way. He's got his letter jacket, and he can hang it up and wear the commander jacket. So many things I really like about Jayden. Number one, I think he's a terrific young man. Number two, he commands leadership as opposed to demanding it, and that's very important to understand. Your actions, the way you study, the way you work, the way you communicate with the players. All of those are that particular position you're judged on. And he checks every box there. I mean, you look at his athleticism, his ability to throw the ball down the field, which is something we really never had for a number of years there. We couldn't stretch a field. I mean, we struggled to score 20 points a game. Now we're averaging, I think, 28. It's a big, big significant difference. And so much of it has to do with Jayden and his decisions when he runs with the football. I remember in the beginning of the year, I had a chance to be around him a bit and, have a few conversations with him. And it's like, hey man, protect yourself. When you see him, he looks lean and thin, but on the other side of it, he's wiry and tough. You don't want to be a big target, and he's not a big target, but he's using his head, protecting himself, get out of bounds, slide down. Now he's diving forward. Hey, however you get to the ground is fine with me. Just make sure that the most important thing you can do for your team is to line up and play every play and practice every play so you can get better. And that's what he's done. One little footnote on that, though, Julie, is I don't think Cliff Kingsbury gets enough credit for the way he calls games with a rookie quarterback. He starts Jayden in a way where he gets the ball out of his hands. The offensive line gets a little more comfortable. He runs it a little bit. Now you start to work up the sweat and you get into the flow of the game. And then you start doing the things you want to do. But I think it's been very masterful the way he's approached this.
The Tampa Bay has the 29th ranked pass defense. You talk about Jane being able to stretch the field with his arm. You see what Terry McLaurin's been able to do. Cliff Kingsbury calling those plays. How can they exploit that weakness on Tampa Bay?
I think you have to be careful to want to get too pass happy. Just because somebody has a poor defense or a poor ranked defense doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And all of a sudden they look like world beaters in this game. I think when we played, and Coach Gibbs had a real philosophy and I loved it. Let's not play the other opponent. Let's play to the standard that we set for ourselves. Let's play to a level that we set. We're not going to worry about who's on the other side of the ball, but we're going to play it our way. And I think that's what we have to do. When you read the statistics and it says, well, they're the 29th ranked pass defense, and you say to yourself, well, the Commanders ought to be able to throw the football. Well, there's no oughtas in our business. You have to be able to earn every yard. And I think it's really important that they do what they did to get here. I think B-Rob's going to have to run the football. I think the tight ends are going to have to be a part of this in a lot of different ways. And of course, Terry and Brown, I mean, these guys have been unbelievable outside. So, we've done the things we need to do. And I think the most important thing to do is keep the ball away from Tampa's defense. However you want to do that, just don't lose the time of possession, Tampa, because they have a heck of an offense as well.
It's been almost 20 years since Washington has actually won a game in the postseason, and that was against Tampa Bay back in like 2006 or so. So what do they need to do in order to say, fan base, it's not that we're here, but we are going to come out victorious?
You just have to, it's hard, it sounds like a stupid answer, but you just have to play this game. It's funny how it seems like all roads for us have run through Tampa. We opened the season in Tampa. Now we're going to play Tampa in the first round of the playoffs. Last time we went to a playoff was Tampa. I mean, maybe they're a good luck charm for us in a certain way. There's a familiarity with the stadium. There's a familiarity with the team you're playing against. I just think that they really have to be what they've been before. I don't want to see this game, although I feel comfortable if we do, get down to the last minute or last 2 minutes of this game where Jayden has to continue to perform magic and magic tricks in different ways for us to be able to win a football game. I think it's going to take all three phases. And don't be surprised if special teams doesn't show up in this game like it has in so many through the course of this year.
Joe, I see that Super Bowl trophy behind you over your shoulder. You know the value and of winning, and the importance of winning for this city, for this fan base. What would a victory, knowing that this team is turning that corner, mean for the community?
I think where we are means so much for the community. Winning 12 football games means so much. I remember a shot, I think it was a week ago or so, they had one of those overviews from the blimp. And I've never seen a picture where every tier of the stadium is full, Julie. That's the thing that impressed me is it's a big house. It's 80 some thousand. And the upper tier had tons, it was full. I mean, it was full to capacity. That's something that these guys can be proud of. And that's something that the fans now have got a chance to get excited. They've been laying and waiting for so long to be able to explode, to be able to enjoy this football team, to be able to cheer for this football team, to wear the Commander shirts or the Redskin shirts, whatever you want to wear to support this football team. And I think really it's galvanizing for the city of Washington and our fan base. And there's, we've got a young football team with a lot of young stars, and it's great to see Jayden, the face of the franchise. I think you have to have your quarterback be the face of the franchise if you want to be successful. If you don't have one, you are not going to win in the National Football League. That is an absolute guarantee.
And we know how long Washington has waited for another quarterback to be the face of the franchise and to lead them. Look, it's still so early in his career. Look, year number one, but there's so much hope around what this team has the capabilities of doing, win or loss, this upcoming weekend. And as you mentioned, it's full, but it's full of burgundy and gold. This team's behind them.
You're so right. I mean, they've made the city proud. Now I think they're going to make it prouder.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Julie.